If you're wondering why I'm kind of looking at the camera and looking at this, it's because I'm trying to get motivated to a really disgusting, ugly, gross job ahead of me. And this car, the fuel tank is rusted out. It needs to be cleaned. For any of you that have cleaned out a rusted tank before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. To take it down, it's usually rusted bolts and stuff you're dealing with. Sometimes you break stuff, bolts, and you get dealing with that. And you're trying to drop it down, and then you got to go through a staging process of cleaning up the tank. But when it is finished, it's pretty satisfying that you got it done, and that's a main part of getting the fuel system clean. So I am looking forward to finishing it, just not looking forward to the process and need a lot of motivation to get to it. So for those of you that don't have to do it, you get to watch me, which is a lot more easier than doing it yourself. So let's get going and join me for that up ahead. Hello, and thanks for slipping some time with me today. So as I mentioned, we're going to be taking the fuel tank out and cleaning it up. But for those of you that haven't seen the previous videos, I'll catch you up a little bit. This 1990 Eagle Talon had sat for over 10 years and it wouldn't start. And I did get it going, but in discovery of some of the issues with it, it had multiple issues. And if you want to go back to those videos. I won't get into them, but definitely one of them was it had a really bad fuel pump due to a lot of rust that was along the fuel pump assembly as well as in the tank. Had a lot of old fuel. So one of the things that needs to be done as a result is to clean the fuel tank. And that's what we're going to get to in this episode. And like I said, it's not a very appetizing job to do. Most of us don't enjoy it. But we are happy to get it done once it's done, and usually we're on our way after that. And just to catch you up, for those of you watching a bit of this series, I spoke to the owner, and sure enough, he wants me to move forward in this car and do what needs to be done to make it basically reliable and safe to drive now that after it's been sitting so long. So we're going to go through not just starting to get all what needs to be done, the basics like cleaning the fuel tank and making sure the fuel system's all clean. We're going to do a number of things that you all should be doing if you find a very old car, and to make sure that it's ready for the road and that you can have a nice, safe, reliable experience after you get it up and running to enjoy it every day. So stay tuned for a lot of stuff coming. But for today, we're going to tackle that fuel tank, which will be definitely enough to do. Just to let you know, too, that I'm going to do a method I think that will work well for this particular case on cleaning the fuel tanks. If you Google or look on YouTube searches, whatever, or ask others how to clean a fuel tank, you're going to find all kinds of different ways to do it. And they all kind of have the same premise of using some type of chemical or whatever to try and get in there and clean it out. But basically, I've chosen one that I think will work for this particular, how bad it is in this particular tank. But by all means, do your research and figure out what's best for you. And you can see the results of what I'm doing and make it your choice on exactly what you think you would do if you have to do it. And again, if you never have to do it, you're lucky. And I'm not looking forward to the smell at all when I do this. Just to get it running, I bypassed the whole fuel tank and fuel assembly. I basically ran another fuel pump in a pail with some fuel, and I ran this line to the feed line, which went up to the front of the car and fed the fuel rail. And we did get it running because the old fuel assembly and the fuel tank, I just didn't want to use it. So what ended up happening, because this has a system that basically the feed line feels the fuel rail, hits the pressure regulator, and then returns back into the tank. So while I was feeding this and it goes in the fuel rail, it was actually filling the tank up even more. So I ended up with almost a full tank of fuel here that I've got to empty. But just so you can see some of the corrosion in there, even through the fuel. It's old fuel, so it's really hard to see in there, but you can kind of see some of it there. And I'll show you when I get it drained how bad it is in there. So we kind of get a before shot before I basically clean it up. So what I'm going to do, because this has a nice drain in it, is there's a drain. Let's see if we can find it here. Right there. And I can drain the fuel and dispose of it properly. And then I can start dropping the tank and, well, disconnecting everything and then dropping the tank. And we'll start getting to that right away. Okay, this is going to be the first part of this disgusting part. This old fuel, I gotta drain it, and there's a lot of fuel in there, probably 12 gallons or so, so it's gonna be a few of these pails full. And it's going to stink. Okay, look how dirty that is. Yuck. Ugh. She's draining anyway. Oh, it stinks so. Ugh. Ugh. All right. That is the most disgusting fuel, gasoline I've ever seen. It looks like used oil, and it smells. I can't describe the smell, but it's pretty bad. That's one pail. Okay. Drop pail number 2. Another 5 gallons probably. Okay, she's dripping now a little bit after it drained. Basically just got another pail. But here's the mess. If you can see, try to get the light in there strong enough that you can see. Yeah, it's kind of, anyway, look. This is the worst tank I've seen in Eagle Talon anyway. It's pretty bad. It's going to take a little work to get this cleaned up. Yeah, look at that mess. So, anyway, it's drained. Let's get rid of that old fuel because, again, it stinks so bad in here. And basically, now I can get rid of the fuel. Now that it's empty, I can drop the tank and get to work. Pail number 2. Actually, it looks worse. You can't even see in there at all. Look at my finger, it disappears. And you see it, yeah. Oh, that is some bad fuel. So next we drop the tank and we got to disconnect a few things. So the feed line, I already had disconnected that. This is actually the line from your charcoal filter, and it is actually kind of disconnected already. You can see, so that's done. This is the refuel return line, so we're going to disconnect that. And these hoses are going to be stuck on really good, and corroded fittings as well, or clamps on them. So this is basically the vent for the gas fill line. I got to take that off, and obviously the filler itself right now I got to do. So once I get those done, then there's just some nuts here that are underneath on each side. We got here. They're probably rusted on too, but this should come. And then we can drop the tank. Okay, broke that off. Great. Okay, gotta cut her off, I guess. See, I'm just breaking it off. That's what I'm doing. Because it's no good anyway. This will be getting a new clamp. Well, that's how you take a clamp off that you don't need again. Well, it's slipping off pretty good. That's good news. Usually they don't want to do that, so we're gonna get her. I think that one. There, that one's off. Okay, just filler hose left. Probably break that clamp too, I'm guessing, but we're gonna try and not do that. Okay, that's off. Now, where's the big guy again? I'll try and get this off. See if it works itself off. We're hoping. Okay, we got her off. Okay, good job. All that stuff's off. The next is these other bolts we gotta get off. I'm just going to keep that one on so it doesn't drop on me. Get this one. Alright, get the other ones. Now, let's get ready to drop her. Let's see if we got everything gets connected first, because that's always a very big possibility that I don't. Yeah, I got one on this side left. I think that's it. I'm hoping. We're gonna find out. Let me put another nut in here to hold, so she just doesn't drop on me here. Okay, now let's get her ready to drop. See if she drops. Okay, she's down. We got her out. Let's pull her. Now I'm going to show you a little more in here of how bad this is. Thought I can get some light in here. So let's try and manipulate this with the light in and the camera. Not using my phone. See how bad that is in there? Yeah, I'm trying to do my best with having the light in here and the camera. But she is bad. That's gross, isn't it? Let's you can see in there, oh, just a minute here, you can see how bad that is there. Yeah, she is bad. Looking in there, oh yeah. Well, we're going to try and get this as clean as we can, and I'm pretty sure we can get it so it'll work again. Now I'm going to take off this, this is called a rock shield, rock guard for it. It's separate, you can see here. I'm going to take that off. There's just a couple here left to take that off. And then I can remove that. There we are. Yeah, look nice how it looks because this protects it. Anyway, that's that. That is another fun job. Well, depends how you look at it. It's fun now that it's done, but it stinks. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pressure wash the crap out of this as much as I can anyway. I've only got like basically that right there on the top where the fuel standard unit goes in, fuel pump assembly. And then I've got, you know, basically that outlet too to run a pressure wash in there. But I want to clean it up as best as I could and to get as much crud out of there as I can. And that's the first step of trying to clean this up. And then I'll show you what the next step is after that. And I'll show you the difference now that I've taken some before pictures of at least each step of how good we can get this clean. But you know what I need to do right now? Because I'm not going to get there. It's getting later now in the day. I'll take it to the pressure washer tomorrow and take care of that. But this thing stinks so much, I got to get this stinky thing outside. So let's get that done right now. Hey. All right, we're off to pressure wash the tank. Looks like it's got an early start with some snowy water. Well, it actually cleaned up pretty good if you look at it. That's just pressure washer with water, obviously, and went pretty good. I'm not finished yet, but I'm happy with at least the first results we got here. Now that I pressure washed it and did my best as I could there, this is the next step I will be doing. EvapoRust. I think many of you have probably seen this. Some of you have tried it and had success. I've never personally tried this before, but from what I've seen on a lot of YouTube videos and other people have tried it, it is pretty amazing stuff. I know people have tried to duplicate it with their own concoctions, and it seems to be hard to duplicate. Now, this isn't cheap. This was $100 for this pail, I guess, but it does last a long time. You can reuse it. You don't have to dump it all out once you've used it once. So I'm going to give it a shot, and you get to see exactly how well it works on this tank. So I've read the instructions. It's pretty safe. It's non-toxic, apparently. And I don't even need a mask, it says, or anything. So we're just going to dump it in. So my plan is open it up, pour it in here. I'm going to let it sit overnight. And then I'm going to basically put it on its side and maybe upside down and do overnight. So it kind of gets all the surface areas. I think that's the best way you're supposed to do this stuff. I got to be careful. I've got a few openings, right? I've got where the filler is there. I've got this. It's hard to seal. I am going to seal, or plug, I should say, these guys here. Basically, I've just got some caps that I can at least prevent a little bit from when it's sitting. And we're gonna give it a shot and see how well this works. Hope it works. And the tank is all dried out. You see me do a lot basically with the air compressor and the shop vac, as well as some towels, and then I let it sit overnight. This is fortunate enough that it has a radiant floor, in-floor heating, and it's running lots because it's cold outside right now. So that just got rid of all the water vapor here, which was nice. It didn't even get to flash much at all as far as flash rust goes because of it, and that was awesome. So let's just start dumping this in, I guess. And I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. But first, let's just open it up. I know there's a tray in here too to set stuff in. We obviously don't need that. We're just doing this. I don't know if I need a funnel or not. We're going to try and do without a funnel. Let's pour it in. Wish it had actually an air hole here so it doesn't kind of splash a bit. That would be helpful. Just sitting there now, and all we do is wait. I'm going to let it sit overnight and check it in the morning, and we'll see how well it did on the first go of it. Okay, it's been about 24 hours of sitting in here, and first thing I notice is that, you probably can't notice, but the stuff evaporates. I can definitely tell that some of it's evaporated, which is a concern if I end up evaporating it all by the time this is done. But let me tilt it a bit so you can see where there might be a line of where it's improved or hasn't improved. It's taking the edge off. I think it needs to sit a little more. You can see there's a bit of a line over there. It's really hard for you guys to see, but it is better. I expected it to be a little better than it is for 24 hours. Okay, let's look on this other side. You can kind of, there we are. You can see where the line is. Now I've got this tilted again, so you can see where the line is, and it has improved, but I was hoping it'd be a little better. I guess we just let it soak a bit more and see how it goes. This may take a long time, I'm thinking, to actually clean this out properly. Let's just tilt it up and soak it a little more. See if that helps. So I've tilted it up to try and get this bottom end, and I know I'll have to do this a few times all over the tank, but let's try that and see if it does a little better this time. It is promising what I'm seeing. I was just hoping it'd be a little faster, but I guess patience is everything right now. We are on day 2 of now sitting in this angle. Let's set it down and see what it looks like. So when I have a look at it, I can see that it's working. Try and get the light in there that you can see that it's improved a lot. You can see on the filler right there, that's cleaned up a lot. But what I can tell you is we got some more action to do here. So this does take some time. Notice it is eroding it away. So I am happy with the results, but I can tell I got to be patient. Let's look a little bit on the other side. Yeah, we got some work there. Now you notice it's still right there pretty corroded up, but that's because I haven't really soaked it there yet. I'm gonna have to lay this tank on its side. But in other places, if we can, let's see if this will work. Yeah, you can see down in, I'm trying to show you here how it's, yeah, you see in there how it's all taking it away. So it is working. You just got to be patient. Another thing that I found out is on the on there. It actually says that it needs to be, I think it was 18.3 degrees. Yeah, so it says right here, should be 18.3 degrees Celsius and above. Well, I keep my shop actually at around 15 degrees, and that's a nice working temperature when you're in here. So I had it a little low, so I did crank it up. I did notice that that made a difference in how well it worked. So keep that in mind. It also is something you got to do. So yeah, I guess that's what we got to do, is be patient and let it soak a few more days. And I'm going to rotate it around and do some things like that just to try and slosh it around and then do the next process. Go into the next position, which I think, given how rusty I've seen things were, I'm going to put it on its side like this. So I think it's all about getting coverage. I'll try and get the light in here to see. It's kind of tough, but there. See how clean that's starting to look in there? That's really good. And then I'm covering it up. Basically, you can see the liquid to try and get some more corrosion done on the side there. And I'm just going to rotate this tank all around and let it soak for a day or two in each position. And then I'm going to clean it up. Well, I was not expecting this to be a multi-day, week or so process to get this cleaned out, but that turns out what it is. So I don't have time to go through all that and then repost the video, so I'm going to wrap it up here. So even though I'm not going to show you kind of the rest of the cleaning in this video, I may in a later video show the final result, but I won't cut you short and not tell you what I'm going to do next after that's all done. So what I'm planning to do is, once I've got this all, it's going to probably take a week to move this around and get all the rust out with this EvapoRust stuff. Then I'm going to pressure wash it again, just as you've seen before, except it'll be all cleaned out, drain the EvapoRust, and obviously the rust will be removed, or most of it, hopefully, maybe all of it. And then I'm going to take a really quick look at it. And the why I say quick is, just a minute, I'll tell you why. But first I want to tell you my next step if I do see rust. I'm going to use this muriatic acid, and I hope I'm saying that right, but I bought this stuff because it's kind of even the next level of EvapoRust to try and get rid of any rust on there. A lot of people use this. A lot of people use it instead of EvapoRust or when EvapoRust didn't exist. So I am going to try that if I need to. Don't know if I need to until I give this a chance, but in case I do, I'm going to use this. Then, if that's all done, and then I'll pressure wash it again and get all through that done, it can flash rust really quick if it's wet after using water and pressure washer on it. So I do have some methyl hydrate. I may need more of this, I don't know, to try and flash it a bit, but this basically will suck all the moisture out. I still will dry it out, but this helps. Basically, it's like gasoline antifreeze, for example, that you put this in your car, especially in the old cars and the old fuel that used to have not any protection like this. So that's what this is. It basically draws all the moisture out, and then you can not have flash rust on it. And then we're good. So that's essentially the steps I will be taking after this is all done. And I'm not going to bore you with that each one. You kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be successful. I was sure it was just from some of the research I did already, but you don't know until you try it yourself. So I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far. Again, just got to be patient. So what is next with going on here? I got a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to open the box and show you that in the next video, what I got and what I plan to do with this car. One of the things, which is going to probably be coming right up soon, is there's some studs broken on here. I got a stud repair kit. I'll show you how that works on here. I've got a whole fuel pump assembly that I'm going to put in and get this all cleaned up. I have done some cleanup on the exterior parts of things. Not going to do my usual where I clean everything up before I put it back on. I talked to the owner and we're going to kind of phase this. So right now we just want to get this into a nice running machine. And once we get that, he's going to drive it a bit. And then the next phase, if we go further with it, is basically to do a refurbish restore after that point. So There are some things that I am going to recondition, I guess, and make looking new again, just because they're so far gone that to put them back on, I need to do something. So I'll show you some of that in a later video as well. I can't wait to open the box of parts and get to it and show you all what I'm going to do in the next video. So make sure you subscribe to catch that. Also share with anybody you think would like this type of stuff as well to watch. And until then, enjoy every day and always make it right.